The Crayola marker, over 465 million markers sold per year. Let's see if we can stretch this marker to its limits. Welcome back, everyone. This is Brittany Elise. Today, we're going to push this cheap art supply in ways it's rarely been used before, so stay tuned. Starting off with a test paper, we do a few swatches so we can see how this art supply interacts with water to create these beautiful blue washes. But what makes Crayola markers unique from watercolors is the reaction it has between the ink and the crystals from salt. You can see these beautiful little red and green blooms starting to form where the salt interacts with the ink. Now that we've finished our dabble, let's get started with our first project. For this first project, I just wanted to start with something small so that I could get a little more familiar with the way this marker interacts as a watercolor and with the salt crystals. Both of my reference photos that I chose for this video come from Pexels, which is a royalty-free image company. This is a great resource for reference photos for artists. Thank you, Pexels! I begin this first project by transferring my image using a graphite transfer technique. This is a great technique to save yourself a little bit of time and just get started. I've done a few of these drawings in the past, and I found the best way to get it onto your paper is by scribbling a little bit of the Crayola marker on a scratch piece of paper and then diluting it with water before applying it to your paper. At this stage in my drawing, I wasn't feeling very confident, but I do know and believe that every drawing or painting has an ugly stage, and that if you just stick with it, you can work through it and it can turn out great. It was about this time where I started working on the eyes, where I felt like it was really starting to come together. The eyes really gave it life, and I was finally starting to get the texture of the feathers from my reference photo. I'm really happy with how it turned out. It doesn't look so moldy anymore. This last stage is always my favorite part, adding the details. Adding all the little details really brings it together and gives it a little bit extra character and life. This little owl is turning out so cute. I'm really happy with how he turned out, and he's just starting to look so magical, like he belongs in some kind of forest. What do you think? One last little touch, and it's time to look at the results. Now that our small project is over, I said that we were going to test these markers to the limit, so let's see how they match up against this 12 by 18 sheet of watercolor paper. As I begin sketching in this next project, I try to keep in mind my overall composition. I keep my sketch loose at this point so that I can keep that composition in mind. As I continue throughout my drawing, I then begin to refine the lines so that I can begin the final painting. I use a similar technique to my last drawing, where I scribble the Crayola marker on a scratch piece of paper and then adding in the water and diluting it to the value that I need. However, on this drawing, I start by laying down a flat wash and then going in while it's still wet with a darker color so that it creates a nice gradient effect. Typically with watercolors, you want to do your lightest lights first and work your ways to the darks. However, in this project, something that I found was very helpful is I actually started with the light washes and then I moved straight to my darkest colors and then worked back and forth between light and dark to get my middle tone values that I needed. Did you know that there are 6 different flamingo species and that a group of flamingos is called a flamboyance? These funny birds aren't just a fun pink color, which does come from their food, but they can also sleep standing on one leg. Did you also know that they eat with their heads turned upside down? I think it's amazing how many different types of birds that there are. I know I'm painting the flamingos, but owls are probably my favorite bird. Let me know in the comments what your favorite bird is. Now that the flamingos are all done, I go ahead and I just pull out my marker and I draw straight onto the watercolor paper, starting to outline all of the birds so I can fill in the background. The background on this image is going to be completely black, and then I'm going to use the salt with those little effects at the top and at the bottom to kind of look like stars. While I was working on the background, I could really tell that these were Crayola markers. I had to switch between 3 of them to get a nice even consistency over the whole background so that I could get the nice wash effect that I was looking for. As I wrap up this painting with filling in the background, I just wanted to share a few of my closing thoughts. I love this style. It can be a little difficult to work with a cheap art supply, but I believe that this is one of the better options as far as using a cheap art supply to make something that looks really cool and a little bit dramatic. As far as a cheap art supplies goes, I believe that this one in particular has a lot of things going for it. I love the beautiful washes that it can create, but my favorite part is the effects that you can get with the salt as it interacts with the ink with the little red spots, and if you have a concentrated amount of salt, it can also create some green spots as well. What do you think? Is this an art supply that you would try using? I would highly recommend it. Comment below what you would like to see painted in this medium, or other art challenges that you would like to see me try. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on any future videos. I'm really happy with how both of these paintings turned out. Let me know in the comments what you think of the paintings and tell me which one's your favorite.